Hello. Welcome to the Bossier City Civic Center here in Bossier City, Louisiana. It's a Pro Pressure Point Shootdown for the 2024 Delta McKenzie ASA Pro-Am Tour. Our third round of the season is the Easton Hoyt Pro-Am, where qualification rounds happen about 30 minutes down the street at Camp Minden, Louisiana. And now we're here under the bright lights and shiny floor. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Greg White, sitting alongside Steve Anderson, who is really having a good time out here, aren't you?
Happy to be in the booth with you, Greg. Yes, thank you.
And so, the 2 days of qualifications, 40 arrows are shot, and we have our top 5 that get to come in here and compete, shielded from what we had quite a bit of wind out there, hadn't we?
A lot of wind, a lot of variable lighting conditions. That's huge in archery. That's really difficult to navigate, especially when you're looking at different color targets that don't have a indicator as to where the maximum scoring zone is. So, come in here, looks like an ice rink, very bright. It can change everything for you. Your sight tape can change. Just your pure visual can change, and then you got to chase all that, and you got to get on it quickly. And you got 5 targets and maybe one more to make a move on things.
So now it's time for our Senior Known Pro category. So let's welcome the third member of our broadcast team here, PJ Riley, who's going to get our archers onto the field of play.
All right, here we go. With our next division tonight, we have Senior Known Pro. Our 5th place qualifier with a score of 425 and 19 bonus rings from Provo, Utah, shooting for Matthews, Tim Gillingham. And our number 4 qualifier with a score of 426 and 15 bonus rings from Big Rock, Illinois, shooting for Matthews, Jeff Borg. Our 3rd place qualifier with a score of 426 and 17 bonus rings from Columbiana, Ohio, shooting for Matthews, Randy Morocco. And our 2nd place qualifier with a score of 428 and 15 bonus rings from Pine Hill, Alabama, shooting for PSE, Scott Fletcher. And our number 1 qualifier with a score of 436 and 19 bonus rings from Florence, Alabama, shooting for Darton, Anthony Smith.
All right, so Anthony Smith comes in here with 436 and 19 bonus rings hit. Our 2nd place qualifier, to give you an idea, is at 428 with 15 bonus rings. And so, kind of a decent lead. Steve Anderson, what do you think?
It's a real good lead in the known yardage class. You know, you have an 8-point cushion. At the same time, these guys will go for 14s, and they'll make some moves if they can get on those. But, yeah, I'd take an 8-point lead anytime. I really like it in the known yardage class. My money's on Anthony Smith.
Okay, money's on Anthony Smith for Steve Anderson. This is the Senior Known Pro category, and what that means is that these archers were able to hit those targets with a rangefinder and get exactly the distance based off their rangefinder, and that's pretty key, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, every one of them is gonna read a little different. You can buy 2 from the same manufacturer, same model, and everything off the shelf next to each other, and get a 1/10 or 2 difference. But interesting right here is going to be Tim Gillingham's probably going to shoot at the 14 ring.
Yeah, Tim Gillingham will probably go for that CBE 14.
I don't think he got it.
There's Anthony Smith.
Yeah, Anthony's goal here is start with a good 10. And he shot an 8, so he gave up a little bit right there.
So we'll go to our first target, which is the Stan Hyena, which we're looking at right now, and where Anthony Smith started. And our crack scoring team taking a look at that, making sure that Steve Anderson is correct. I don't think there's any question about that. So 8 points out of the box. So then we're going to move over to our Elevation Impala. I'm going to call this the Elevation Shy Impala, Steve, because it's looking the other way.
Yeah, it won't look at us. Scott Fletcher with the 10.
Now we're going to move to our last event winner, Randy Morocco, who was able to take victory in our second round over Tim Gillingham.
10 for Randy.
So Randy gets a 10. That, of course, was on the Shibuya Javelina. Now we go to the gold tip mule deer. That's going to be Jeff Borg, who also comes in at 426. He was with 15 bonus rings, though, where Morocco was at a 426 with 17 bonus rings.
It looks like Anthony's 8 is not going to hurt him too badly. We usually assume that in the known yardage. 8's a 4-point swing. Can be 6 points, obviously, here in the pro pressure point shoot down with the 14 ring in play. But a lot of 10s out there. Guys figuring out what's going on, getting their bearings under them, and an 8 for Tim Gillingham as well.
Gunning for that CBE 14 ring. Gillingham just misses it wide. And Gillingham with a slight equipment change from qualification round. He had that kind of bright Kawasaki green bow that he was shooting, kind of a yellow green, and now he's brought out the old, looks like that's going to be the TRX. Still with the Walker configuration of stabilizers up front. Actually, on this one, he's
got the offset.
The offset, yeah. Doesn't have the double front bars like he used to have, but the one thing we can rely on Tim Gillingham is he's always going to gun for him, especially if he's down.
Yeah, I expect he'll shoot it most all of them the rest of the way out. But he might play here for trying to catch those guys that are sitting 3 points ahead of him. And
now the target Tim started on the grazing doe. That would have been his best shot too, because
Yeah.
that one's only 32 yards downrange.
yeah, everything else is a good poke here. And Paula's got a good look at a 14 ring and a good one to aim at. You don't want to mess with the Javelina's 14 ring because it's tiny and it's really hard to find. And then the mule deer is just far enough away that you're probably not going to take too many pokes at that one either.
Second arrow of 5 in regulation, I guess, shooting. Those within 10 points are going to get a sixth arrow shot at it to catch the leader. Gillingham on the stand. Hyena gets it, goes 14. Hunting.
Go. Team bow.
Rarely smiles. Unless it's like in the rain, for the wind. That's 44 yards downrange too.
Yeah, it's a good poke. He knows he's got to get it if he wants to win, I guess.
Oh, it's the Anderson family.
I know them.
Who's that on the right?
I know them. Yeah, that was little Stevie Anderson, so making her first appearance.
Very happy to be around the archery range and all the people. What a great kid. Your wife's done such a good job.
She has, yes.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate her. 10 for Anthony Smith. And it looked like he was, that's not his arrow, that's Scott's arrow. But it looked like Anthony was a bit on the high side, but I don't know if he's trying to dial that in, trying to find zero, or if he's out dealing with a little bit of the nerves that come with being in the shoot down here.
So for Randy Morocco, that was the gold tip mule deer, and he's able to get a 10. That's 48 yards from the shooting stake. Jeff Borg. The Bowdoodle grazing doe at 32 yards. That's definitely one, if you need the 14, you're going to go for it. And it looks like he's able to get that CBE 14 ring.
I shot it up, I didn't move the cone over the stand. He placed the cone forward.
No discussions going on here.
Did he score correctly for what you wanted?
No, I scored it as a 10 because I can't see the cone at all.
Okay, you could
We
see the
are
cone at all, but you didn't
listening
have it.
to-
You were trying to move it out for the 12.
Some type of score change.
Do I?
I think it's on Anthony Smith. I think he moved the cone out, but he didn't get it out in front of the sign far enough for the scorers to see it. right, so it sounds like they're changing Anthony's to a 12.
Okay.
Because anything else is for 20 bonus rings and a 456.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he went to
correct.
a 12 on our second arrow. That's going to advance him to 20 bonus rings.
Scott is a 448.
Tim Gillingham, after an 8 on the first one, gets 14. So we started off with 3 10s and 2 8s in the first arrow, and then all of a sudden we get 3 out of 5 shooters get bonus rings, including 2 of those CBE 14 rings.
And that score change just came through on the scoreboard on the screen, so we've got Anthony at 456, which is correct. Yeah, I think guys they just weren't moving that cone far enough in front. I mean, for me, I'd be making it really obvious as to what I want.
Yeah, for sure. That's a nice solid 10. Gillingham going for the 14 again, we would have to imagine. That's on the elevation Impala that sits 35 yards away. So that one is our second closest. Our leader, center mass 10. Did Randy call upper, or did he stick that cone behind? Can you see?
I cannot see his cone.
Yeah, Randy didn't call the upper, so Jeff Borg on the stand, Hyena with a shot. So we'll wait to get to that target for Morocco, but
Raising a 460.
460 then for
16
Borg.
bonus rings. Next up, Tim Gillingham.
Jim Gillingham
14.
gunning for that 14, I'm sure.
Looking for another 14.
That one out left.
Not quite as fortunate that time. Using the
So that'll be an
455.
8 for Gillingham. To the Shibuya Javelina.
And to Anthony Smith.
This will be Anthony Smith, our leader.
Looking for number 12.
One thing's for sure about Tim, he's not shooting to try to get third place, right? He's trying to get all the way back to the top there. So that's 3 targets for him and 3 14 attempts.
For Anthony, using a 466. And still leading
Scott
the
Fletcher
bonus rings, 20.
on the gold tip mule deer.
Scott Fletcher. 10 for Scott, moves into 458. Still
10. He was gunning for that 12.
Randy Morocco.
Now we go to Randy Morocco,
Up a little bit of ground on that.
winner from the last event.
And Randy's one, we couldn't see his cone, but he's in the lower 12.
Yeah, so it should be a 12.
Yep, he's aiming lower 12, gets it.
The requirement is that you're not allowed to move your cone until the scoring is finished. So once the archers move to the next position, they'll grab that cone and place it where they want. If it's kind of behind, there's actually behind the
Behind the sign.
yeah, is a number, and so if the cone sits on that number, it's lower 12. If they kind of required to move it up
Yeah,
front.
I see what we got. If the cone's visible to the scorers, they know they're going for a 12. Might be time to look at maybe a little toggle switch and a light, right? Maybe red light is
Yeah,
here, blue light's there, whatever, however you want to do it. Maybe a little toggle switch. But
that'd be
yeah.
with outdoor, indoor. Some events we have
Yeah.
indoor, some we have outdoor. It might be a little tricky, but
Yeah,
I know
getting
they're working
power
on it.
out there, things like that.
I say you go to Delta Airlines and you have the cone be the Delta Airline in-air upper or something like that.
There you go.
And instead of a cone, you use like a little airplane. I don't know.
Yeah, let's get a little
Somebody
something,
called
little, Little something out of Delta Airlines, our favorite airline there.
There
I'm
you
about to hit
go.
1 million miles. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, be there real quick.
All right.
Yeah.
See, please text me and let me know what they give you.
Yeah, it's probably
I
like
got-
a tag for my bag or something.
I got a carry-on bag, a Toomey carry-on bag, when I hit 1 million miles.
That is high, yeah.
Yeah, it was like $550.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. I'm at 1.7 million.
Man, your butt probably feels it too.
Yeah, my shoulders, everything. Anyway, senior known pro.
Target 4.
That's our first target, the stand Hyena.
Gonna
Some-
get another look at Randy Morocco.
Something fell out of the.
He
Oh,
dropped
the
his
release.
release.
Oh, okay. On a hard floor.
That can really actually jack with some things on thumb buttons. When they hit a hard floor, it can dislodge some parts.
Sure can. So Morocco was a 10 though, so obviously it's okay. And from our vantage point, we don't see him messing with that thing at all. Elevation Impala 12.
Jeff Borg. 12, yeah. So he's the nearest to our leader, Anthony Smith, and he's making some moves there. So yeah. Anthony was still maintaining 6 points coming into this 4th round. After shooting an 8 on his first one, didn't cost him too badly. No one's really capitalized on anything. There's 14. There's that little mini 14 ring. Tim shot at it. Tim got it.
We got a smile. We got a smile at him. All right, Tim.
He's 50% now. He's 2 for 4. There's no doubt he's going to shoot at it here on the mule deer.
Yep.
Mule deer's probably not a bad one to aim at it on. A lot of times those deer, the core line, if you can see that, will almost point to the 14 ring. Now we're getting some bonus rings out of these guys. Did you notice the size of that 14 though on the javelina? It's tiny.
It is really small, especially with that 27 gold tip that Tim's shooting. Thing looks ultra small. But Anthony Smith answers Borg with the 12 of his own. And for Scott Fletcher, also a 12. So 4 out of 5 shooters are able to get bonus rings on that one. So here we go to our 5th and final arrow of our regulation shooting. And once this arrow is done, anyone who's within 10 points of the leader will get to shoot a 6th arrow. It's the last chance, archery last chance arrow at the Russian Borg.
And right now everyone's within 10. Randy's the only one. Randy and Tim are the ones that are really possibly out of range of making that in, but I'm sure Tim's going to go out of 14. He's going to have to. This is an interesting scenario because at this point Tim knows he's got 1, maybe 2 arrows left. If I were him, I would sit and watch Scott shoot first, maybe. But I don't know, you got Randy right there too. There's a little bit of strategy in knowing what the other guys around you have done. If they go shoot a 10, you know that you can shoot a, or if Anthony shoots an 8, Tim can shoot at the 14 safely. If he hits an 8, he's still in. But yeah, there's a little bit here of strategy.
And you're right. Tim kind of waited. He's the last one to go full draw. Oh no, he's not.
He was, but he's gonna be there pretty quick.
Let down. Anthony Smith, upper 12.
There goes Tim. He shot at the 14. I think he's gonna be a little bit low, but it's close. No, it's not close. It's right there. Sorry, I'm looking over here, and I got this nice 4K screen right here to my left. I'm trying to see it with my bare eyes from 40 yards away.
Wow.
Yeah, he smoked it. Ooh, that one's just out. So Morocco's going to end his day right there. And Anthony Smith looks like he's got a solid 10 there. Could be an upper 12. Again, I'm looking bare eye.
He's the closest to us, so yeah, 10 on the stand hyena. But for Anthony Smith, he's the closest to us, and so like we're obscured by the liner, I guess you could say, of the field of play. I can't see if his cone's out front or not.
He's shot at mostly all uppers thus far, so.
Jeff Borg, 472. 12.
And the 12 for Borg. Here's Tim's 14.
It's possible this one goes in.
Stoic, not giving us a single thing.
There it is. Possible that still scores a 14 right now, too. Yep, very good shot by Tim. That's a 48-yard mule deer that's dark in the corner against blue curtains.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tim famously had LASIK surgery and got trifocals lasered into his eyeballs. So he's got a little bit of a bionic eye going on there.
And for Anthony Smith, he gets out with a 12. So with Smith, we've got to do the math. That should take him to what, 90?
Yeah, it's going to put him at 490. We'll see the swap here in a second. I didn't remember what everybody else shot, but yeah, he's still got a 6-point lead on Jeff Borg, and the only person who's going to be out of this race is Randy Morocco.
So for Randy Morocco, he gets a round of applause for his effort, of course, back the Pro Pressure Point Shootdown. He won the last round, but now he's out of this one with 4 archers to go on our last chance archery, last chance arrow Russian bore. This is putting it randomly on the floor, and then they're going to move him somewhere as well, just to put a cone down and saying this distance. This won't take that long because
they don't need to judge it.
Yeah, they're just going to range it, go.
It's about a yard maybe in front of the mule deer, which was at 48. So depending on where they shoot it from, it's going to be in the neighborhood of, yeah, I'm going to call it 45 to 46 yards. Scenario here, Scott's going to go first. He's 3 points back of Tim, 4 points back of Jeff Borg. He should shoot at the 14. If he hits that, now Tim needs at least a 12 to beat him, and Jeff needs a 10 to tie him. Everybody's kind of too far away from Anthony Smith to do much about it. So they're all going to be playing for second and third here, assuming that Anthony will just need a 10 to win, and he'll get that.
And those ties are on bonus rings. So, for instance, if Borg ends up, well, I guess he's 6 points back, isn't he? So if anybody was to tie Anthony Smith in terms of score, for some weird scenario, you got to default to bonus rings. He comes in with 19, and for Smith, he's hit 3 of the 5 bonus rings. So that takes him to 22 total. Nobody else is that close. But Gillingham on the back of 2 8s and 3 14s works his way from 5th place up to 3rd
with a shot at second.
Oof. All right, but it's going to be Fletcher who's going to kick us off.
Yeah, I mean, Tim could shoot his way into second. Of course, you know, through only if Anthony works himself backwards does Tim have a shot at the win. But the par here is 10, right? Par is 10. Anything else is basically your birdie or eagle. You're looking for a 12 or 14 and a minimum of a 10. We don't expect these guys to shoot 8s. It happens here and there, but these are the best guys in their class, and they're typically going to come in here and at least keep it in the 10 ring. So this is going to be at a 14. Yeah, so he shot an 8, which that's what's going to happen. Missed the 14. You're going to come away with an 8 or a 5.
And it's a good distance down there.
Yeah, it's a good poke.
It's not the full 50.
And that's a tough one to see.
And
it's such a flat target with no definition. It's really hard to understand what you're aiming at.
At 488. Next up,
you know, I was in one of these shoot-offs once, and we had a wolf that was really hard to see definition on. So I looked at the back side of it, and there was actually a Hoyt banner. And I knew that the 14 ring was about a third way down the body and directly in line with the Y on the Hoyt. So that was what I used to aim. I couldn't actually see on the body where I was at, so they don't have a good reference here. This is a real tough shot.
Yeah, you're talking about that blue curtain you were talking about as a background. You can see him line in where the audience is as well. And the higher ones go all the way around, and the thing's back there. So for Gillingham, he doesn't call the upper.
Yeah, he's going to shoot at a 12 ring here, or should. Yeah, if he...
All right, so the clock has started, so he's got 40 seconds left, plenty of time. Or 14.
Like he made a little maneuver with his mouth to straighten out the peep sight.
Yep.
That's a 10.
Doesn't seem to be happy with the shot.
That sounded kind of weird coming off
Currently
there
in
too,
third
but
place at 483. 10 for Tim Gillingham. Moves him to 493.
so 493 for Tim.
All right, Jeff.
So for Borg, if you can't catch Anthony Smith, the safe play is just go for center mass down.
Yeah, he's shooting at a 10. Yeah, right here, if he shot at a 14, he's absolutely insane. But, you know, yeah, your assumption is that Anthony Smith is going to shoot a 10 or better.
If he shoots a 10.
And
You can't do that.
Yeah, if you go for a 14 here,
I can't help
he
you
would still
more
need,
than that.
Anthony would shoot an
Jeff,
8
you're
and they
under
would still be
our-
tied, which would still give him the win on bonus rings?
Correct.
Yeah, so
Making
he
number
has
12.
no chance at winning unless Anthony shoots a 5.
All right, Jeff, you
So,
ready?
yeah, Jeff's
We'll
job
start your
here
1 minute now.
is to shoot a 10. He needs to aim center mass 10. Solid. Yep. And he
Yep,
might
what you need
even
to.
he called upper, so he's not going to get a 12 out
Looks
of the
like he's
deal,
got
but
a
it doesn't
solid
matter.
10. Let's see what Scott has
Doesn't
to
matter.
say
So the
about
last
that.
chance archery, last chance arrow for
That'll
Jeff
put him
Borg.
in
He's in with a
second
10,
place.
and that's going to guarantee
10.
him second place.
For Jeff, boosts him to 494 and 1 point ahead.
Unless-
Team Gillingham, and now Anthony
Yeah,
Smith.
now Anthony just needs some foam. He just needs to hit the animal.
Anthony, you need 5 points,
Yeah, all he needs is 5 points to win, and that's it.
but you don't need to know that. because
Important thing
you got
here, he's
something
setting his
else in
sight.
mind,
Do
I'm
that
sure.
correctly. First job, set the sight correctly.
Mm-hmm. It's happened to you. It's happened to me, especially field shooters, field archery.
Yeah.
You get up there, maybe you're talking in your group or something, and you just line up, and next thing you know,
Ready to go.
it skittles off the ground or goes over the top of a target. I mean,
Yeah, we have a mutual good
All right,
friend,
we're
our
gonna start
homie
your
Stephen
1 minute
Hansen, who
now.
missed at his sight like 3 of these shoot downs in a row. This is probably about 6-7 years ago, and yeah, it just became a little bit of a viral thing for him. Just kept doing it, but yeah, so that's first and foremost, set your sight and set it correctly.
for the win.
Got it
No
with
problem.
an 8 left.
Okay, there's your champion, Anthony Smith.
And that's your champion, Anthony Smith. He comes in here with an advantage. He's able
Let's get a
to
final number from
shoot
Scott
his
on that,
way,
and then we'll give you a final
maintain that
stats.
lead on the back of 3 bonus
And
rings.
depending on the TV production
Yeah, he gave
schedule,
2
we'll
away
set your awards now
at first arrow. He
10
shot an 8,
for Anthony.
and we thought maybe the door's open, but he was able to plot right back up with 12, and then goes 10, 12, 12, and finishes off with, was that 8
With
left?
enough, yeah, with enough.
Yeah, with enough. That's all that really mattered.
Okay, so we do have time, so we can start out with the Senior Pro Awards over here, and then we're going to move to Senior Pro.
All right, Anthony Smith, great job. Congratulations. How are you feeling about this one?
Oh, I've been nervous the whole time, but kind of nervous all the way around. And I've been looking for this since last year. I come in 3rd place last year, and I was looking to make a comeback this year. So
Well, you started off your first arrow with that 8, and then you were able to get 3 bonus rings on the backside, and that must have been really comforting heading into that last arrow.
oh yeah, they gave me a little cushion there, and I took some of the stress off.
Well, you did it. Congratulations. You're the champ.
I appreciate it. Whew. I'm glad it's over.
All right, so the celebrations begin for Anthony Smith as we are wrapped up with our senior known pro. But don't go anywhere. When we come back, we got more action coming at you. 4 more pro classes in the 2024 Delta McKenzie ASA Pro-Am Tour. It's the Easton Hoyt Pro-Am from Bossier City, Louisiana.